Hello, hello, hello. Oh my God. Today has been a very, 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 very interesting day. I am in Massanutten, Virginia. It's a resort. Well, no, Massanutten is not the city. Massanutten is the resort. The name of the city I cannot even pronounce. But it's been interesting because I am seeing the mountains for the first time, like up close and personal. And it's really crazy for me to say that because I am in North Carolina, where I googled it. There are over 2,700 named mountains. There's absolutely no excuse for me not having been to the mountains before, and I've been coast to coast, and I'm from North Carolina. But I blame it on my mom. She was afraid of falling rocks and deers and cliffs, so that's one place we never went. We typically went to the beach or whatever. But anyway, that's another story. It's absolutely beautiful, and I am a chronic sinus and allergy sufferer. Didn't know it until I moved to Virginia in 2012, and I can actually breathe and hear. I don't feel all clogged up. My adenoids are not swollen. Thank you, Jesus. No need to take Benadryl tonight. So it's good. It's good. It's good. Um, I am truly surprised by the um, feedback that I got from the video in response to my viewpoint on the Your Average at Best video. Um, I think that most people got what I was trying to say in the video. Some people heard what they wanted to hear, as that's what happens when you throw stuff out there. But for the most part, people got it. So my point was to try to add another viewpoint and to be fair and objective. So that was my point. Now, with all the feedback, I received a specific request to speak about my experience as a Black woman in the military. And there is so much that could be said about that. I want to start with how I got there. I'm from North Carolina originally, from a very, very, very small town. And we moved from that small town when I was going to the 5th grade to the Raleigh area. And we stayed there until through my junior year. My senior year, we relocated to Portsmouth, Virginia. If anybody knows anything about Portsmouth, Virginia, it's very hood. And to those that are from Portsmouth that might see this video, they might be offended. That's not my intent, but that's my opinion of it. Going from, I would say name of high school, Garner Senior High School to Portsmouth, Virginia was like going from, have y'all seen the movie Legally Blonde, how that high school setup was? It was like going from that setup to Lean on Me. And I was a very, very intellectual student coming up. My goal was to be a doctor. So I had done volunteer work, I was in sports, I had taken AP courses, I was on track to go pre-med. I was actually accepted at pre-med at North Carolina State University. So when we relocated to Virginia, I had tested out beyond the school levels, and they wouldn't allow me to go to a, what's the word they call it? I forget the school that offers the, more college level courses. They wouldn't let me go to that school because of where we lived at, the zoning. So my senior year of high school, I ended up taking all electives except for 2 courses because I had tested out everything else on that school level. And my class ranking when I graduated was actually a 9, which is crazy. I mean, it was crazy good, but anyway. So my high school experience was traumatic to say the least. We had security guards, there was a daycare in the school, people were selling drugs. That was like the thing. And the thing there with the girls was everybody wanted the drug dealer, they had the most money. And it was mind blowing to me because coming from the area North Carolina I came from, it wasn't like that. I mean, girls had started having kids when they were in high school, but it was different. It wasn't necessarily by drug dealers, they just were a little hard in the pants and messed up. I feel like that was a time when our communities had started heavily getting inundated with drugs and things of that nature, and when our demographics took the biggest hit from crack epidemic and things of that nature. But the goals and ambition was just very different. It was kids in high school with BMWs on rims, and there was an appeal to that, and I just didn't get it because my thing was like, you going to jail, you're not gonna have no health insurance, you have to pay health insurance for these kids. I don't know, I just always thought differently, but that was me. So anyway, I got accepted at North Carolina State, moved back to North Carolina as soon as I graduated. North Carolina State decided that they would not accept me as, they accepted me as an out-of-state student. Despite the fact that I was born and raised in North Carolina and did most of my school years in North Carolina, because I graduated from a school in Virginia, they charged me out-of-state tuition. If anybody knows anything about tuitioning, they know there is a major difference between in-state and out-of-state tuition. Couldn't afford it. So my time there was very short. I did not want to go back to Virginia, so I got a job, got into a relationship. I started renting a room from a friend, from my best friends of mine actually, and the guy I was in a relationship with, we broke up, but his mama loved me. She got me a job at the Department of Revenue, and he started working there, and then he got a new girlfriend. His new girlfriend started working there, and they just, I don't know, they should have just been worried about themselves, but it's like they made me a focal point, and she started telling people I used to date. It just became a mess, and there wasn't a lot of work to do. I was bored with work, so it got to a point where I was like, this ain't really what I want to do. I'm sitting here paying my best friend's mom rent when I could be staying with my parents and paying them rent, so let me just go back home. So I went back home and would have had no direction at this point because I didn't have a plan B. And I got a job, and it was nothing to brag about. I was just kind of going through the motions. Had a new friend, and long story short, my mom gave me an ultimatum. She was like, you are too smart to be working in fast food. You need to go back to college or join the military. And she gave me a deadline. And she does not remember this conversation. I don't think she remembers it because it wasn't her, but we absolutely had that conversation. And yeah, so I said, well, I joined the military. So the ASVAB, I tested extremely well. My recruiter was like, you can pick whatever job you want to pick. And he was trying to encourage me to do something for women, like nursing or a cook or something like that. He was like, something that he didn't even, well, take it back. He didn't say cook because, yeah, I'll get into that later. But something that he thought would be easy, something clerical. Like, and I did not want to do anything clerical because of my experience at the tax office. I just felt like women were just kind of petty and gossipy, and I didn't want to be sitting down somewhere for 8 hours at a day. I like to be active and move around. So he was like, why don't you try petroleum supply specialist? This one, you only do 4 years. You're not gonna have to do nothing because you're a woman. Blah blah blah. It's gonna be like a regular 9 to 5. I said, okay, time me out. That was my first mistake. Anyway, a couple months later, I'm on a plane to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Now, I think it's important for me to add to the background. I came from a very strict environment. My parents were very strict. They were very religious. We couldn't even listen to secular music until we were like 16, 17. To be honest with you, then we really kind of had to sneak and do it. We were not allowed to go to the movies to see certain things because we're big on what you take in and what you let into your body and your mind, that type of thing. So even when kids were able to stay out after dark, including my baby brothers, Felicia had to be in the house when the outside lights came on. So let's give you some background. So very sheltered, very sheltered. So my plane ride to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, I was 20. It was my first plane ride. I remember when the plane took off, I thought, oh my God, what have I done? I cried myself to sleep, and I woke up. We were getting get off the plane, get off the plane, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, that was that. Um, we got to end processing. That was a nightmare. I was told ahead of time, don't ask any questions, don't volunteer for anything, don't raise your hand. What I do? When we get there, you know, they have you take out everything that you packed, and they tell you what you can and can't have. Well, I had a question about something. I raised my hand. Why did I do that? Not one, but two drill sergeants in my face, screaming, yelling, hollering. And I was just so shocked. I started laughing. Why did I laugh? That wasn't good. So then the female drill sergeant thought I was being flirtatious with the male drill sergeant. She couldn't. It was a mess. They told me to drop. And I'm like, drop? What do you mean drop? Drop and do push-ups. I'm like, okay. I thought I knew how to do push-ups before I joined the military. No ma'am. No sir, I did not. Did not take long for me to reach muscle failure. I mean, they were on me. Back straight, and they would not stop until I figured out how to get my back completely straight and get a real push-up in. And then, you know, they assign you all this stuff and give you this big duffel bag, and you're expected to put it on your back and run to the barracks. I had no energy. So when I tell you I drug that bag the whole entire time and got cursed out from the processing center to the barracks, that was my introduction.
Are you done?
And I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail about my time in basic training. It was very hard for me because back then cell phones were not what they are now. And they're not supposed to have them now, to my understanding. But we got 3 chances at the payphone. It was, you were not told in advance when you were going to get to use the phones. And so you got a chance to call. If they answer the phone, great. If not, oh well. Every time I try to call home, I couldn't get a hold of anybody. But some interesting things were I had a chance to meet some white people that had never seen black people in person before, and that was mind-blowing to me. And it's like they were fascinated with my skin complexion and the way my skin felt. And I'm like, oh, can I rub your hair? And I was like, where y'all from? This was in the 1999. Like, I haven't really seen black people before, but they were from like North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming area. So I figured, well, it's very cold up there. You know, we tend to not like the cold, so whatever. But it gave me an opportunity to meet people from all facets of life, which is very interesting. And you're put in a situation where you have to get along. You have to learn to get along, whether you like it or not. There were some issues of this one girl was caught doing some things with a guy, and they put her on the stage and made an example of her, and they did not do the same for the guy, and I remember feeling so bad for her. She ended up leaving. I don't know if they put her out or if she just couldn't cope to the point where she wanted to go home, and because she was caught doing that, they decided to let her go. But the guy stayed there. And then 2 other interesting things that happened. I say interesting, but it's really kind of sad. There were 2 guys that committed suicide while in basic training. That was sad, but that was kind of basic training. And the other thing I kind of remember that kind of stuck with me, there was a girl that had a baby before she went in. When her baby came to the graduation, the baby did not know who she was, and it had only been 2 months. I mean, it was a little bitty baby, but that was like so heartbreaking to me. Anyway, fast forward to AIT. My AIT training was in Fort Leonard, and that was very interesting too. I stayed in trouble. My dad used to tell me that my mouth was going to get me in trouble, and it absolutely did. That they gave us the second weekend. The second weekend there was our first free weekend before we got passes, so we can actually leave base. And everybody went from the base to a tattoo shop and to a hotel. I called my mother from the hotel, and I said, "Oh my God, Mom, this is the Sodom and Gomorrah." I could not believe what I was witnessing. I don't need to go into detail. You just will have to use your imagination. But I told the gentleman I was with that I still keep in contact with, and I was like, "This right here is not gonna work for me." But it literally was like in scripture Sodom and Gomorrah. So that Sunday night, everybody had to be back by curfew, and my roommate, I never forget it, she looked at me, she said, Williams, I am so in love. I said, girl, you ain't in love. You don't know him. You had one night with this dude. You don't know him. Oh my God, that's all we needed. It was like we're destined to be together, blah, 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 blah. We're going to try to get stationed at the same place so we can do it, so we can be together and get married. I was like, girl, no, that is not love. That's not love. But I couldn't convince her otherwise. Couple days later, these two guys got into it, right? And one of the guys put chewing tobacco on another guy's bunker right before inspection time. The drill sergeant was livid. So for punishment, right, they wanted us to take our entire rooms, which consisted of, usually, depending on how many people in the room, bunk beds for each person, a dresser, and a chair for each person. And that's pretty much it. I mean, we just had the basics. But they wanted us to take all of that stuff outside and set it up on the, it wasn't a parking lot, but it kind of was. It's like a parking lot with no lines. Set it up outside as if we would do in a room. It was timed, and it needed to be inspection quality. I looked at the drill sergeant. I said, I'm not doing that. Crazy, I'm not doing it. These two idiots got into a little masculinity contest, and when I thought he gonna be funny, like, I understand we operating as a team. I'm not doing that. This is not. So, Williams, you gotta do it. You don't have a choice. This ain't a. You choose. Sir, I'm not doing that. So I was put on kitchen duty for the rest of my training in AIT for the weekend. So I had no more weekend passes. So I didn't get a chance to cut food because I was belligerent. So that's kind of the other stories I can tell about AIT, but I'll leave that there. Then I go to my permanent duty station, which was Fort Bragg. That's where it got crazy. And I can do a couple different like videos about this. Sorry, y'all, somebody's calling me. But just from what the little bit that I've told you so far, I can tell you that well, let me say this. I didn't realize that there was a stigma attached to being a woman that was in the military or a veteran until I saw Kevin Samuel's video. And honestly, I didn't see the video. I don't even know exactly what he said is the reason to avoid women that are veterans or that are in the military, other than the kind of them having kind of masculine qualities. I can say that I can get why that would could be a concern or a red flag. And a lot of women might not like that, I might not disagree, but there's nothing, and this is my opinion, there is nothing feminine about being in the military. When you join the military, it's like it's not discussed, but the primary purpose is to train you to go to war, to know how to kill and defend people. And there's nothing feminine about that. I don't care what your MOS is. And some of the things that we as women have to endure, like going on field duty, where you have to do a minimum of 2 weeks at a time out in the field, where what you're equipped to wash your body with is baby wipes, even if you're on your monthly. That's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And I mean, they have all kind of stuff that they can give women to stop, your cycles and things like that. I personally do not think that that's healthy for a woman's body, but that's my personal opinion. I mean, some women have things going on that actually works better for them, but for me, I personally don't think it is necessarily healthy to go against the natural order of things. Um, but that's just me. And it's a male dominated field. I was quite depressed most of the time that I was in the military. I was stalked, I was harassed, I was proposed to on 3 different occasions by men that I was not even dating, did not even have a relationship with at all. And the proposals, I believe, were actually very sincere, even though I think they were misguided with their intentions because they just, for lack of better words, hadn't matured. You know, your income doubles when you get married, when you're in the military. That's a lot of people's motivation. And a lot of people just get confused. I personally feel like your life is not all yours when you're in the military. Because at any given time, you can get orders to say, you gotta go here. And guess what? If you don't go, it's AWOL. I I can go into detail later, but I flipped a fuel truck, and I'm talking about flip, 2-ton fuel truck. I was thrown, they say, hundreds of feet from the building, and when the truck flipped, the glass shattered, cut my face up to pieces, right? The sergeant that was in the car with me, he was knocked unconscious. I guess because I'm so little, they said I just tossed in the air like a rag doll. But I spent the entire night in the emergency room, doing X-rays and things like that to make sure I was okay. I was okay, thank God. Walked away with just a cut up face. But and you know I inhaled all those fumes, I was saturated with fuel. But I didn't show up for a PE the next morning. Do you know that 2 officers showed up in my barracks and told me I was AWOL? Yeah. And I'm like, y'all crazy. Oh, sorry. Y'all are absolutely crazy. But I get it. And there are more stories that I can share. But that's all I'll say on that for now, because I want to try to keep my video times down. But another question I was asked specifically was, if I had a son, what would I advise him about dating a woman that was in the military? My advice to him would be not to. And it's nothing personal with regards to the woman, but her life is not going to be completely hers. She can get orders at any time. That lifestyle, unless you actually live it, it's hard to understand. Like, there were times, every time there would be people coming back from deployment, they would put us on gag orders because it was guaranteed people were going to get murdered. Guys would quite often kill their girlfriends or wives when they came back because they found out they was having an affair with somebody two houses down, and this and that, while they over there doing their on assignment, and we couldn't talk about it. They said if the media comes, you cannot discuss this, you can't get into the details, you know, anything. So it's different. It's different. And there's no way to really prepare for it unless you know. I can go into so much more, and I might split it up and make different topics about it. But yeah, that's where I want to start off with it. If you have any more questions, or if there's something specific that you would like me to elaborate on, I'll be happy to do that. In the meantime, I'm gonna say ciao, and thanks for watching.